What's good, pimp? This is Jen with SeductionUnleashed.com, help you release your best with women and beyond. And today we're talking about how to attract these shy girls, man. And also as well, the difference between shy bitches and not so shy women, the positives and the negatives, because there are positives and there are also negatives, because everything is yin and yang, baby. So for example, you might be on a date with a shy girl and the negative part is that you have to carry a lot of the conversation, but maybe later on the positive part is that she's very naturally feminine and naturally submissive. She kind of lets you have your spotlight, you know, your spotlight to do what it is that you want to do, to be a fucking man. But on the other end, there's also those crazy bitches. There's those bitches who are not shy, who on the other end will put up a big fucking fuss, where you have to really be committed to being a dominant man to G-check these chicks. On the other end, shy girls, you also tend to deal with other shit. For example, when things go bad, they're gonna be the first ones to act passive aggressive, to not talk, to say, no, it's fine, honey. Meanwhile, it's not fine, honey. But at the same time, the not so shy girl is also gonna do that, and she's also gonna make a big fucking scene, but she's gonna be a lot more easier to speak to directly. She's not gonna be there as closed off, and she's not gonna do as much of the passive aggressive shit. So there are definitely some positives and there are definitely some negatives. However, when it comes to actually attracting the shy girl in conversation, and when you're in that conversation, because there's gonna be those women where the moment you go up to them, within a couple minutes, within a couple seconds, you quickly realize this is not a super duper loud social chick, and this is a conversation, this is a set, this is an approach in which you're gonna have to be doing a lot of the talking. By the way, bro, if it's your first time here and you're interested in dating, relationship, self-improvement, and motivational content, start now by hitting the subscribe and bell notification button so you can join that Unleashed notification game, bro, so you don't miss anything. So with that being said, bro, let's get back to the video. Get comfortable with the fact that you're gonna have to be doing 90% of the talking, especially probably that first or second date. That's the truth of the matter, especially that first date, especially that first half of that first date, especially if you go up to the chick in a random social environment or non-random social environment. Shy girls, they tend to not give you a lot back. They might even just give you a smile and just a laugh and a giggle, and you're there thinking, fuck, what else do I say? And that's a feeling that she's just gonna have to get used to. The best habit to have with shy women is the habit of pointing things out about them, being able to read them very well. For example, she might be shy, but she has body language, she has fashion, she has things that she's wearing, she has things that she's interested in. You can point these things out, and you have to be used to the fact that sometimes it might be a dead end, and sometimes you're gonna have to just keep pointing shit out. Eventually, it's gonna get to the point where you realize, oh shit, well, she's not leaving. The bitch is still here. I mean, she's there. She's not over here trying to get the fuck away from you. That's ultimately, I think, the biggest indicator of interest when you're dealing with a shy girl. Is she still in the conversation? That's really all that matters. Is she still in the conversation, and also her body language? Because if she's over here like, but then again, you know, a shy girl is kind of hard to read, especially if you're inexperienced with women. It's kind of hard to read their emotions. Oftentimes, they're very good at being chameleons. Oftentimes, really, it's all in the eyes. But if you're doing all these things, you're talking to her, you may not be able to notice all that right away. So the most important thing is that she isn't, you know, looking super uncomfortable, and that she stays there. If she's still smiling, she's still talking to you, you're still in there, then bruh, you still in there. I have dealt with a number of girls where, especially my younger years, where the girl, she actually was very shy, and there was a very important reason for that. Usually a lot of times her parents had her on extreme fucking lockdown. They didn't let her go out at all, so she becomes very socially stunted. And when you're around these kind of girls, sometimes it can be really fucking boring, to be honest. I'm not a big fucking fan of shy, boring chicks, but not all shy chicks are boring. There's gonna be those shy chicks where they're just shy, but as soon as they relax, then they finally start to talk. Then again, you also get those shy girls where as soon as they relax, you realize that they still don't really have shit to talk about. You just be there like, bitch, what the fuck be going on through your fucking brain all day? But anyways, that's besides the point. Let's say, I knew a girl, I was dating her. She was shy as fuck. She was on lockdown. I wouldn't even say I was dating her, but the point was that when I would be in conversations with her, I was doing most of the talking. And honestly, those situations, if you like that, then you can go for it. Me personally, I can't stand that shit. However, at the same time, you also get those super loud, sarcastic, charming girls that are cool as fuck buddies. But to actually be around them all fucking day, where they might be there like, so what are we doing today? So what are we doing tomorrow? So what are you doing? You know, that might be fucking annoying too. It's all a matter of temperament and what the fuck you fuck with ultimately. So for example, you might be on a date with a shy girl and she is there not giving you a lot of cues, not giving you a lot of signals. You're there thinking, how do I get physical with this girl who's not giving me anything? She's barely giving me shit verbally, so how am I possibly going to progress physically? Here's what you do. You incrementally use the duality of push and pull, of yin and yang, of hot and cold, and slowly, you just little touches, little shoulder touch. She doesn't freak out, cool. Little elbow touch, she doesn't freak out, cool. Now you take a little moment, pat her on the back, some high fives. Eventually you get to the point where you're now a little more comfortable. Maybe you slap her butt and walk away. That's obviously something that's gonna happen when you're a little more flirty with the girl. But sometimes shy girls, their way of showing that they're with it is to not freak out. So if I'm with a shy girl and I slap her on the butt and she acts like she's fake mad, but then she doesn't really do anything, that kind of says a lot right there. Here is a really diabolical secret to getting physical with a girl. Let's say you're at a point in a date where things are going well and you do want to get physical and it does seem like she likes you, but you're having a hard time breaking that physical barrier, especially when she's just there. She's not really giving you anything. She's not giving you any cues. Here's the thing. When you're with a girl and you're progressing physically, a lot of times as dudes, we read all these books about progressing sexually with women, push, pull. You want to kiss her on the neck and then do this, and then you want to do that, and then you want to touch her here because that feels really good, and touch her here because that erogenous don't feel really good. But here's my problem with that. Here's something that I learned from actual experience and not just reading a bunch of fucking books. In reality, a lot of times when you get those really submissive girls, when you're constantly trying to touch on them to make the physical sex, just the whole process happen, when you're trying to touch on the bitch, touch on her titty nipples constantly, it's a bad dynamic. Even if you're going push-pull, that could work too, but a lot of times the best possible thing is to take their fucking hand and to put it on you. To take their hands and put it on your chest. Take their hands and put it on your dick. I'm telling you, you're gonna be surprised at the amount of girls where you were like, oh my God, dude, I was having a whole fucking headache. I was here for an hour, juggling fucking pins, trying to get this chick to physically open up. And the moment I just took her hand and put it on my dick, now suddenly, she's stroking it, and now everything is cool. That is a great fucking secret. I don't know what it is, but the truth of the matter is when you let girls touch on you, they start to relax a lot more, because chicks, they get kind of defensive when they're being touched on all the fucking time. When they get to be on the role of touching on you, that's something that they rejoice in, because you have to think about it. Women, they want to touch us, but they're naturally passive, and they know if they just start touching you, they might be perceived a certain kind of way. They're not gonna want to put themselves out there and possibly looked at as a slut or get rejected or whatever the case is. So they're naturally, and it's just naturally not their disposition to be super aggressive. So, but at the same time, they do want to touch you. They are interested, so you simply let them. They are gonna have moments. They might have moments where it's like the first, second date. You take their hand, you put it on your dick, your junk like right outside your jeans. She takes her hand away. It's not a big deal. You just wait a little bit later. Now, I'm not saying that's the only example, obviously, but the point is that you want her to. Chicks are receiving all the fucking time. They're constantly in the position of receiving. And physically, we don't really think of it. We think of it verbally and action-wise, you know, like I'm talking to her, I'm approaching, she's receiving. But physically, too, they constantly receive. They're the ones getting kissed on the neck. Man, make that chick kiss you on the neck. They're the ones getting touched on. Man, make that chick touch on you instead. Make her kiss you down. Stop always being the one to kiss her down. When it comes to shy girls, it's the same thing. Ask her things where she has the opportunity to commit to fucking bring something else of value to the table. And there's also going to be those times where it's hard to get her to come out of her shell unless you say something first, especially when it comes to certain topics like more serious conversations or sexual conversations. You're over here with a shy girl, you're trying to talk about sex or you're trying to get sexual. The reality is it's going to be difficult if you just go up to her and you're just like, hey, well, what's your crazy sex story? If she's a shy girl, you might have to be there and be like, yo, what is your craziest sex story? I know for me personally, this one time I got caught fucking on the staircase and we got arrested and the shit was crazy. I was out here shirtless, getting put, you know, brought to the fucking car looking like an episode of Cops. It fucking was crazy. Now suddenly after you tell your crazy shit, you put your dirt out there first, now she's gonna naturally feel a little more okay, a little more open to open up to you. That's something that with shy girls, it's gonna get to the point where you feel like you breaking out all the stops. I'm breaking out all the stops. You say one thing, she doesn't respond. You're like, okay. You say another thing. You fucking touch her a little bit. She kind of resists. You're like, okay. You go do some other shit, and then you try again later. You're constantly in this mode of slowly breaking her down. If she does not budge, she's enjoying it. But also remember, just because she's shy does not mean you have to constantly be in the chaser mode. Try to get her to step out of her shell. Try to get her to get physical with you and touch you and laugh and all these type of things to bring her out of her shell. Oh yeah, one more thing. I just want to warn you real quick. Don't just think that because a girl's shy that she's an angel. Because I'm telling you right now, every single girl has a yin and a yang. Every single girl has a good and an evil. Why do you think when you act all nice to them, they don't fucking respond? Why do you think when you go to sleep at night, it's dark? Why do you think half the day it's light, half the day it's dark? Half your fucking brain's logical, half your brain's emotional. You have a male, you have a female, you have high-pitched voices for females, low-pitched voices for males. Males have dicks, chicks have holes. I mean, the constant fucking polarity of everything in the universe, it slowly shows you that everything is a 50-50 type of situation. Do not ever believe a girl on the front end, because everyone has that negative side, and it's important to know when you're dealing with a shy girl what she's like in that negative side. Does she have character? Because sometimes some of these shy girls, they're a little bit spineless and they don't have character, but at the same time, you know, you just need to see how she is, her negative side. Don't believe that just because a chick is not over here acting all crazy that now she's a fucking angel. That's never the case, and for every girl it's never the case. But at the same time, you just have to be aware. Don't let a chick's natural disposition make you believe that she's just this innocent fucking angel, because I'm telling you right now, if you sleep on these chicks, you're gonna get caught slipping. And if you get caught slipping with chicks, you're gonna end up in a bad situation. You're gonna end up with half your shit gone. You're gonna end up being in a bad situation when you're like, wow, my delicate little flower, she was so shy and innocent, and I did not expect that. But you know what? You should have expected it, because there's a single chick in this universe. That's ultimately what this channel is about. Not just unleashing your best with women and beyond, but understanding the dualistic nature of our universe and how it affects dating. That's ultimately the big conflict that every dude has, because at the end of the day, every dude just wants to relax and be nice and be like, I love you, baby, and blah, 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 blah. But as soon as that happens, what happens? The sexual tension disappears, because sexual tension is brought upon between the mix of good and evil, push and pull. It exists in all of us. It's an inevitable part of our universe. The same way, like, you might just have to come across a situation where you have to fight to the death. That's why life programmed that shit in you, to have that animal in you in case that happens. That animal is in every fucking female, but that is a moral conflict that nice guys end up having, is because you want a girl to be this fairy Disney princess image, but in reality, she's a dualistic creature, and that dualism is something that you're gonna have to balance all the fucking time. That's something that is a big epiphany I had to come to terms with, because for me, I came into dating material at an early age, at middle school basically. So when I was learning all this shit, I was on my ass catching shit. I wanted to be the best there ever was, and I also wanted to be the best like boyfriend. I wanted to be like, if I was in a relationship with a chick, it would be perfect. There would be no arguments, because I would figure out every single logical solution. And then slowly over time, I realized that no matter how logical you were, no matter what perfect shit you did, the reality is that there was always a up and down with women. There was always a yin and a yang, and it's always gonna exist. And that shit it drove me a little bit crazy, because it's like, man, no matter what you do, there's gonna be those days where she starts drama. There's gonna be those days where she acts passive aggressive or cold, or whatever the case is, or her mood isn't all that. You're always gonna have to deal with some fucking female emotional shit. Now, obviously, everything is perspective. Some guys deal with shit on an insane level. For example, I might deal with drama when it comes to jealousy. Other guys might deal with drama when it comes to throwing out the trash, because they're at such a horrible point mentally with that chick that she has the nerve and entitlement to bitch at him over the crazy smallest things. Now, the chicks around me, they don't have that entitlement, but you're still gonna have to deal with emotions. Emotions are up and down. You couldn't even have an up without a down. That's the whole point of our dualistic fucking universe. That's why you have to nix that fucking moral conflict that you have in you of I just want to be good all the time. It's not about being evil. It's not about being an asshole. It's about understanding the fact that, you know what, just think about it. As much as you are a nice guy, as much as guys try to say I'm a nice guy, I just want a girlfriend, I just want a girlfriend to love and blah, blah, blah. Motherfucker, let me look at your porn history. Let me see what the fuck you beat off to, and I'll see quickly that you are not this nice fucking guy. Angel, everyone, male and female, has that aggression and that affection. That's why when you have sex with a girl who's really, really bad and you really, really like her, you have that feeling of like, you just want to tear her apart, but at the same time, you just want to slowly kiss her and just like worship this beautiful fucking girl. You just have that part of you that wants to be extremely affectionate and extremely aggressive. That's that attention, that positive, that negative, that evil, that good. When you combine that two, that's why guys always say push-pull. You compliment her, then you tease her a bit. And guy, that's why do you think good cop, bad cop works? Let me give you some real street knowledge shit. I'm from the fucking Bronx. I might as well bring my own perspective into this shit. When dudes rob you on the street and when cops interrogate you, they both do good cop, bad cop. They both use the polarity of the universe, the fucking dualism of our fucking nature against you. That's how the police get you to fucking start chirping. They get one guy to act fucking crazy, so then you see that crazy negative side, and then they get the other guy to act positive. So you get that positive side. So you get that positive part of you stimulated and that negative part of you stimulated. So now it's to the point where you're like, okay, this crazy guy's crazy, but this one guy over here is like, you know, one cop is over here like, man, we're gonna lock you up forever. And the other cop is like, everyone just wants to go home. You know, my partner's just a little stressed. You know, just tell us what happened, and you know, we'll wrap this up. Blah 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 blah. I got into a situation, dudes try to rob me. I had one guy with his hand on my shoulder, like, hey man, yo, just give him the phone. And the other dude was over here like, nah, bro, just poke him, like with his hand in his pocket, like he had a knife. Like, nah, yo, like let's just poke him right now. One guy is over here like, nah, bro, we ain't gotta do that. We ain't gotta do that. He gonna give it up. He gonna give it up. Why do you think that is? That's manipulation. For years, I was getting good with women, and I did not even realize. I had this big epiphany when reading some shit that didn't even have to do with girls. I just started reading something about how just throughout history, plenty of cultures notice this duality and this yin and yang, but you hear about it, but you don't really notice it. But when you start to read, like how everything, like you get 2 legs, 2 arms, you know what I mean? Like magnets, there's just so many things. The way they function is fucking like symmetry, is duality, is contrast all the fucking time. And then suddenly it hit me like, that's what the fuck it's been with women this whole time. This whole time you hear about attraction, evolution, and survival and all this type of shit when it comes to attracting women, but no one ever says why. Like, why is it that I have to be positive and negative? That I have to be like, I love you, affectionate, but at the same time, I want to fuck you, you fucking whore. Like, why do you have to have that 2 sides of you? Now, suddenly it makes sense when it's like, okay, because that's the universe we live in, a sun and a moon. That's ultimately what it is. But what happens is, dudes, we have that big moral conflict because every single girl, they're gonna have that evil side in them. And that's where the red pill and things like this naturally spawn about, because at some point, men are gonna realize it. When communication spread across the whole universe, it got to the point where men could communicate to where all men start to realize, oh shit, all these bitches are crazy. Like, all these chicks have that crazy side in them, but it's about kind of separating yourself on some Buddhist shit and not taking it too personal, and just understanding that that's just how they were made. You cannot get angry at the fact that, I mean, sometimes you get angry, man. Sometimes these bitches just crazy, man. It's fucking annoying as shit, man. You just, what happened, man? I'm human too. Shit. But at the same time, it's gonna drive you crazy, and that's just not what you want. And I know I just went on a whole fucking spiel, and this doesn't even have nothing to do with shy girls, but sometimes things get really deep, and that's how you ultimately get to learn and understand things, because other dating coaches, they're just gonna tell you, act alpha, act this, but they're not gonna explain why you need to constantly do this push-pull. So motherfuckers get this idea of like, why do I have to be fucking schizophrenic to get a girl? No one explains this shit, but here, this is what it is, man. This is just what it is, man. There are a lot of positives and negatives to female nature, and ultimately I'm not just here to speak about all the negative shit. There's also a lot of positive shit. Chicks are very emotional, but that also means that they are very submissive and emotional and will follow your leads. I know girls out there that will hide a body for me if I really wanted them to, who would fucking do shit that is extreme that my homeboys wouldn't want to fucking do. Why? Because they know, they feel like, oh man, that he's the shit, like I'm gonna follow him. I have my emotions caught up in him, and that there's a lot of that can be abused and manipulated too by your evil male nature. So, you know, I don't even need to talk about the positive. It's just like everything in life, man. You give change to a homeless guy, it feels good. You punch a motherfucker who's you don't like, it feels good too. You know, you have those two sides of you, and it's all about learning those two sides of women and how to deal with them and how to not have that moral conflict that ultimately a lot of guys have. I mean, how there's guys out there who fuck girls, their girlfriend and missionary, but then go to the bathroom and beat off to the really crazy point that they actually want to fuck to because they do not want to cross that purity boundary with their woman. When in reality, if you just acknowledge the fact that every girl has that in them, you can express those two dualities during sex without having that big moral conflict, as well as just socially too, man. It's okay. I know guys, there's so many dudes growing up who used to tell us shit, who used to tell me and you shit like, hey man, I could do it too, I'll do it, but it's just, I don't really want to be an asshole. Like they're basically saying that we're just being assholes. Like they are so used to, they grew up with Disney brainwash conditioning where they just want to be positive and happy and suck up to bitches all day because it all feels good. And they just can't get over that. They can't get past that conditioning. No matter how many times you let them know the reality, the duality of female nature. I mean, it's so fucking obvious. Just ask girls how they want to be fucked. They don't want someone to just pound their pussy mindlessly, but they don't want someone to just slowly fuck them like a gentle little delicate flower either. It's odd. They want both. It's obvious, man. And when you come to terms with that, you will be a fucking beast. You will experiment with things that other dudes never have the balls to. And you will live a life in abundance that motherfuckers are gonna envy. And that's really what, I'm not saying that's what it's all about, but does feel good. So if you enjoyed that kick-ass, incredibly popular video and you want to see more on dating, relationships, self-improvement, and motivational content, start now by hitting that button right there. Hit that bitch right there so you can join that Unleash notification game, bro. And if you want to continue your journey to some pimpage and beyond, hit that video right there. So with that being said, bro, unleash your best, and remember, till next time, confidence is bred by competence. Peace.